Father's Day has a funny way of making you take stock of time. Not big dramatic moments, just the regular stuff. Sitting at the table, rolling dice, shuffling cards, explaining a rule for the fourth time, and trying not to take over when your kid is making a decision that you probably wouldn't make. And honestly, that might be one of the underrated gifts of this hobby. Tabletop sports games, or just board games in general, give us an excuse to slow down and share a little space with our kids. Maybe they get into the game. Maybe they don't. Maybe they only hang around for a few innings or a few drives or a few turns. But for that little stretch of time, we're not checking email, running errands, or trying to get through the next thing on the list. We're just there. And as dads, that matters. So with Father's Day on the calendar, maybe this is a good week to think about the games we play, the time we make, and the people who might remember those little moments more than we realize. This is the Tabletop SportCast. This is the Tabletop SportCast, where we talk about tabletop sports games through game reviews, interviews, and projects, because the best sports moments aren't just told, they're played. This is episode 258. I'm your host, James Cass. This week, we're doing something a little different for Father's Day. My guest is Roy Paeth, and Roy is not coming on as a game designer, a publisher, or someone whose name everyone in the community is going to immediately recognize. And honestly, that's part of what I like about this conversation. This is really a chance to get to know Roy a little bit and talk about the way the hobby fits into everyday life. We're certainly going to talk about tabletop sports games. We're going to touch on other board games, but we're also going to spend some time on fatherhood, making memories with our kids, finding ways to take care of ourselves, and how the hobby can give us a little bit of quiet, introspective time when we need it. So with Father's Day on the calendar, this feels like the right week to have a conversation that is still about games, but even more about the life around the games. We're going to skip around the table. We're going to skip any of the news from around the hobby. We're going to get right to today's interview with Roy Paeth. All right, I'm sitting down tonight with Roy Paeth, and Roy is a member of our gaming community. And Roy, we had a chance to meet a couple of years, I guess it was just last year around this time, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, at Play.con. But good catch. And we got a chance to run into each other a couple times already this year, as well as a couple of the conventions. But how are you doing?
Doing well. It's, I can't believe it's only been a year ago. It seems like it's been much longer. As you get older, time seems to fly by much quicker.
It really does, doesn't it? It's amazing how that happens. And but it was about a year ago, end of June last year. And we got to give credit to Keith Avalone, because he was just trying to find people that could partner up to get rides from the airport. And we just randomly got selected with each other because we happened to be coming in around the same time. And it was great. It was good to get a chance to sit in the car with you and just get a chance to get to know you and, kind of introduce you to the hobby a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great icebreaker because it was the first convention. I had no clue what to expect. I was nervous as all get out. I will tell you that for sure. So, you were a calming influence on the ride to the hotel.
Cool. I'm glad I could be that. And I think we've all gone through that experience when we attend these for the first time. And we'll talk more about kind of attending conventions for the first time. But let's start kind of at the beginning, right? And talk about your journey with this hobby. Like, where for you, like, did it really kind of start?
Oh, yeah. So start with the hobby would be, I'm trying to remember what, I was probably 10 or 12, somewhere around there. And for years, I was 10 or 12. How many years really was it? I had wanted Strat-O-Matic football and could never convince the parents that it was a great idea for me to be locked up in my room playing a board game. Shocker.
Right. Exactly.
And then finally, it was actually one Christmas Eve. I can remember it vividly. I got Strat-O-Matic football.
Oh,
And as they would expect, I retired to my room and learned how to play that night and would constantly play the game. I mean, it was pretty much every spare moment I had, I was playing the football game. Of course, I played the Bears and Walter Payton, and yeah, that's kind of where it started.
that's a good game to start with. I think a lot of folks in the community start with Strat in some format or another. And I don't hear Strat football as much as like a starting game, to be quite honest. But usually it's like Strat baseball or Appa
Yeah,
football and something like that. So it's a nice, unique experience to be able to start with Strat football. And where was it you were seeing Strat football? What was it that made you want to
it
play that?
was.
Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember the magazine.
Mm,
It might have been Football Digest because I used to get that all the time.
okay.
That's yeah, it's got to be something like that. But I remember I remember that's where I saw it, and I told my parents. I have no idea where they got it, but um, thinking back, I may have actually left some clues on how to get it for me.
We tend to do that as kids, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was, and I was disappointed each year. You get clothes, you get practical items, and you don't get Strat football. And then when I finally got it, I'm sure they probably were thinking we probably shouldn't have bought this game.
So that was your Red Ryder BB gun, is what you're saying.
That sure was.
Excellent, excellent. And so what has your journey been like since then? Did that kind of lead right into other games, or was that pretty much the game for a long time?
That was a game for probably the first few years, and then I came across Statis-Pro baseball,
Oh,
and that hung around through high school. I would say, yeah, definitely through high school, and I can remember summers. Once again, great idea, Mom and Dad buying me games. I spent the summer inside playing Statis-Pro baseball. My friends would come over. Eventually, they'd snag me to go outside and actually play real baseball. But Statis-Pro baseball, I even have one of the old games with some of the old score sheets I kept. So that kind of took over that addiction for me.
wow, yeah. And I'm sure pace of play was part of what like kept it on your table more,
Yeah.
right? Because we all know like the football games were just so much longer to play, and
Hmm.
I can remember playing Statis-Pro football as a kid and not minding the fact that it might take me 2 hours to get through a quarter. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Statis-Pro baseball was like, oh, I could play a game in like 30 minutes. That's great.
Yeah. And the FAQ cards were great. I didn't have to,
Yeah.
I mean, it just sped things up so much quicker. And I remember drafting teams and never playing those teams, but I had a great draft through a couple days. Um, Keeping stats. And that was the thing with Statis-Pro baseball. There's just so many stats you can keep.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. Now, we hear from a lot of folks that once they get out of high school into college, the games kind of hit the shelves and we lose track of them. Was that a similar experience for you?
100%.
Yeah.
I kept the games. I still have the original Statis-Pro I had and the Strat-O-Matic, but um, when I think back, I think COVID was really the first time that I got back into games.
Interesting.
It was
Um,
it was play games too, and I don't remember where the heck I came across it.
oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think COVID brought a lot of folks back. Now, in the interim, were you a board gamer and interested in board games at all, or was it really that the sports games is what brought you back?
Yeah, so board games, honestly, role playing games. So about the same time I started
Ah,
Strat, one of my buddies got the first Dungeons and Dragons, and so that kind of started the role playing games. And I was more for quite a while, even through high school, college, and afterwards. It was role playing games kind of never went away.
okay, very good,
Yeah,
nice.
it was my way to escape at times. It was just it encouraged your imagination, and it kind of took over. And it was quick, usually quick and easy for a group of us to get together and play. And as you probably know, finding people to play tabletop sports games very tough.
Very tough. And, early on, a lot of those games weren't really designed for solo play the way they are now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was the other thing that really drew me to like Statis-Pro baseball was the fact that, wow, I don't need anyone else. I can just sit down and play this myself, right?
Yep.
But football games, you had to kind of figure out like how to do the play calling yourself, and they weren't always designed for solo play, right? They were designed a lot of times for the head-to-head.
Yeah. Yeah. Which made it tougher.
Right. Okay, cool. So, all right. So you get back into it in COVID. And what are you doing for the first couple of years before you kind of found yourself going to a convention? Did you find yourself getting into leagues? Was it just like solo playing? What were you kind of doing in those
Yeah.
first few years?
It was so for COVID, a buddy. So we had moved to Tennessee, and a buddy of mine and I kind of came across Play Games. We bought the Baseball America set back then,
Mm.
split up the teams. We each bought them, and we would play half the team. So we'd play like a 3-game series each week for every team, and then we'd have a spotlight series where we'd jump on Zoom and play a game head to head. So that really, other than that, it had been, some video games like Out of the Park.
Yeah.
So that turned me on to History Maker Baseball. And then Play Not Con was
Oh,
a, took a chunk of my bank account afterwards because I found all these other great games. And as I'm sure most people will in the industry will say, my name is Roy. I'm a game collector. I have more games I can ever play in my life, but I keep buying more.
nice.
So yeah, I remember after that, it was Red, White, and Blue Racing. And then I picked up second season football, and now I have most of Keith's stuff.
Very cool. And all along, like I'm guessing a big sports fan was like, are you kind of just in general like just enjoy watching sports, or is there a particular sport that is like the one that you're kind of go to as a fan?
I I guess I'm a football fan. Well, I'm really a soccer fan first, but
Oh,
as far as watching, it would be football because fantasy football, there's more ties to it. But I pretty much watch. If there's a baseball game on, I'll watch it. If there's I really don't watch the NBA much anymore after the Jordan years.
right.
Baseball can turn on at any point. Football, college football, the draft. Yeah, my kids were raised around the draft. When it was 2 days and they were babies, I got baby duty and sat and watched the draft the whole day. So
Very
yeah,
cool. You mentioned the Bears, so I'm guessing like a big Chicago fan. Is that
yes, everybody but the White Sox.
Okay? Fair enough.
I
Fair
don't,
enough.
and I don't hate the White Sox like some Cub fans do, but I also don't like them.
I'm from New York, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yes, you got it.
It's a common ailment. As you move to Tennessee, have you found that you're becoming a fan of some of the local teams, or is it still kind of a
No,
Chicago fandom?
so I can't root for the Titans because they're horrible. The Predators, when the Hawks and the Predators were in the playoffs, we tried to get tickets to come down here. And there was a point at which if you had an Illinois address, you could not order Predator tickets.
Oh, wow.
And even to the point we had some friends that went and they had Blackhawk shirts and were told they had to cover them up. So I'm not a Predators fan. I love going to the games there, and the Predators fans are amazing. They're very passionate, but no, I don't. Trying to think. No, I don't root for any of the Tennessee teams, even
Okay.
college.
Even college. Okay.
Yep.
And you guys have a pretty decent soccer team down that way too, don't you?
Oh, okay. So I take that back. Yes, the Nashville Soccer. That is my soccer team.
Okay.
Yeah, and we
All
were
right.
season ticket holders for a little bit when they opened in the new stadium,
Oh,
and that experience is second to none as far as sporting events I've been to.
and that's an MLS team, right?
Yep, they sure are.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So we'll speed it up a couple years and get you to like your first convention. We talked about us meeting there.
Mhm.
how did that experience go for you? Like, what was, what was your expectations going in, and then what was the expectations as you kind of like showed up there?
Okay, so I wasn't going to go. And I think if you ask Keith, I think I might have gotten one of the last tickets to go there because he had to reopen the tickets. I had wanted to. I had been through my divorce had been finalized. I was kind of not in the best of moods. I had mentioned it to my kids one day, and it was a concentrated effort between the four of them to tell me, Dad, you need to go to this. You need to go see your people. And so
Nice.
finally I bit the bullet and was like, yeah, okay, I'll go. And I was, as I told you, I was nervous as could be.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect. And I can tell you, so I showed up and you and I are chatting about all kinds of things on the way over. Get in and everybody's like, it's like, I almost can relate it to either your best friends from high school or even buddies from the military get together. It's like everybody knew everybody so well. And I can point out you, Travis, and Paul, whose name I will butcher, so I won't say it, were like the welcoming committee. And it was, I felt like it had been a year since I saw you guys and I knew nobody there. So it was so welcoming. I felt, I didn't feel out of place. I'm still
Nice.
an extreme introvert, but that feeling getting there and meeting everybody was fantastic.
Awesome. I think it's a common experience for folks when they go. I've heard it from a number of folks as I've met them at conventions that is a common experience, and it amazes me how many times we almost talk ourselves out of going. Right.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
glad you had some people to give you a nudge. And the fact that it was your kids is even better. So
Yep. It sure was. It sure was.
yeah. Very cool. And what do you think it was about it that they felt like, what what motivated them to make sure that you went?
Yeah, I think they knew I needed, because I suddenly had some extra time on my hands.
Mm,
And I needed something to fill that time, and I truly needed community. I really didn't have that. And they knew my obsession with games because I had plenty of them.
yeah,
And moving into the new house, they had to help me move all of the boxes of them. So the more and more they heard me talk about it, they're like, you just need to go. Worst case, you have a horrible time and you don't ever go again.
that's true. That is true. So glad you made the effort. And just to kind of level set for the audience, your kids, we're talking like adult children at this
Yeah.
point, right?
So I've got 4. They range from 23 to 33.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So a good influential age to be able to push dad in the right direction.
Yep. Yeah.
Very cool. And then as you kind of went through that convention, what were the things that stood out to you the most, like for that first weekend, other than kind of the camaraderie? Was it, is that what brought you back, was just the camaraderie, or was there other things that happened there that were good experiences for you?
Yeah. So Michael, so first I entered the Demolition Derby. So my
Oh,
first introduction to playing a game at a sports gaming convention was getting knocked out before I even got a turn by Michael Canistrari. That was my introduction to play games and the gaming community. So
that was a ruthless game of Demo Derby.
it was. I was shocked, and Michael and I are friends now, and we still talk. So, and he always brings it up, my introduction there. But and then I got to play the golf. So for me, role playing games, even when we go to role playing conventions, we try to play games that we have, but we don't want to read the rules and learn how to play. So for me, play.com was perfect to learn how to play the golf. I learned to play golf. I think we did a little bit of an introduction to the fishing game there.
Yep.
I got the demo derby, and then just got to, I think I played season ticket baseball there as well. So
Oh,
there was an
nice.
introduction to a bunch of different games. And so that was it kind of forced me to get into integrated. Other than that, I've brought stuff, but I never played. I actually came back with way more than I came there with, but
Same.
yeah, but in the end, it really was really just hanging with everybody. And I kept telling my kids, they're like, I'd call them up at night and they'd be asked how are things going. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. These are my people. And I even think I did some Facebook posts on it that it was cool to have my people there and
Yeah.
meet my people.
Very cool. And you're right. Like, I think it can be really intimidating. I remember my first experience at Play.con, and I went for the first time the year after the NotCon, right? So that
Okay.
kind of got my feet wet about the convention experience. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But you don't really, it's online, right? So you didn't really get a chance to really get to know anybody. But it was just amazing when I would meet, and I was like, oh, yeah, I know your name, right? I don't know your face, but
Yeah.
I know your name. And actually getting to finally make some connections with some folks that I kind of felt connected to, but it obviously really enhanced the connection when you finally get to meet somebody, talk to them face to face, rather than kind of like through like DMs or in like chats on the community websites and all those kinds of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's great to
Yeah,
put faces with the names and, you learn like Michael's one, Brad Fowler, yourself. I mean, you just learn more and more about these people, and it becomes a friendship.
very true. Very true. So you also, and I know that like I was introduced to this a little bit when we actually got to the convention, and you're a big hiker, right? Like it's a big thing. And I remember like we went for a walk when we first got there,
Yep.
because I forget I think we were just going to lunch or something,
Yeah.
right? But
Yep.
yeah, and being there, like you had to pretty much walk everywhere because neither one of us had a car. Like our ride was through an Uber, right? So
Yep.
like so we're walking everywhere, but that was actually that's when I kind of found out you were kind of an avid hiker, and you've kind of made that really a big part of your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it is. It's uh hiking is my, I would say, escape, but my way to it's my getaway. It's my happy place, and it allows me to kind of, and I do it every morning. Sometimes it's just I don't always go hiking, but it's usually a walk, and it allows me to clear my head and set up my day. When I don't go and do that, my days are never the same.
Mm, interesting. Is that something you've been like? Is that a recent thing you've been doing, or has that been like a long term time, like passion of yours?
Yeah, no, I hated the outdoors for years. So it was
It's all those summers you spend playing football in your room, right?
yes, yes. It just became after I needed something after the split up,
Yeah.
and I was we had rented a home in between selling and buying, and the owners had said, "Hey, there's a walking path about a half mile, about 2/3 of a mile away, or no, half mile away." And I remember when they said that, I was like, "So I'm going to walk a half mile to go walk." That makes zero sense. Uh, One day I just was like, you know what? I got to do something, because I'm sitting here watching TV all the time. So I got up and went for a walk and hated it. My feet hurt. And along, but I felt so much better after doing it. So it started at like barely a mile. And I think now I'm probably 4 to 5 miles every day.
Wow.
And it's my thing to get my day started, whether it's a week, and I go almost every day. I do skip here and there, but it's, and it's just an escape for me. And I don't know, it's a mind cleansing, and being out in nature. Like I said, hated nature, didn't like hot weather. And I'm in Tennessee. It's 90 degrees and humid. And I'm just get up a little bit earlier to go walking. So,
Nice.
I've reconnected with nature, and I can't tell you how good it is. It's every day.
That's great. And obviously, like when you can get yourself into a good routine, right? Like routines become addictive in their own right.
Yep.
There's the whole idea around like atomic habits. You probably have read that book too or
Yep.
something, but like the idea of like just building those routines. And But I also think like that form of exercise, right, can also be addicting. Just to feel like you're getting out there, like you get the endorphins, pumping a little bit from just
Mhm.
like going for a nice active walk. But do you also find that it's, because for me, like a lot of the release and a chance to kind of get away from things tends to be like the gaming.
Yeah.
And did you find like it was a similar experience, like the hiking, just to be able to unplug from society and the other parts of your life that you just, take up so much of our time? Was that like a similar experience for
Yeah,
you?
so that's funny because now that you mention it, I'm gonna be honest, never really thought of it,
Mm,
but it's 100%. I mean, whether it's, tabletop sports or role playing, it is a, um, little bit of a distraction to get away from things. It allows you to well, for me, it allows me to disengage my mind from, maybe it's work or whatever else
yeah.
that's going on. It creates an escape, kinda into my own little world, and it's funny you say that, and I'm listening to you, and I'm like, "Wow, yeah, that's pretty true." Because I'm a big introvert,
Mm,
so hiking by myself, playing games by myself, that's right up my alley.
very true. And it is amazing. Like even when today was a super busy day for work, right? But like I started it off by just getting up a little earlier, and for me, it was just like, you know what? I got 30 minutes. Like I know I can get a baseball game in right now, and it
Yeah,
just set my mood for the day, because it was like, oh, that was a fun game, and it just kind of got me going. And exercise can be that kind of release as well. So it sounds like you found that thing to be a really positive way to kind of get the day rolling.
yeah, yeah, it's you mentioned that, and the first couple days of this week were not a great start, and yesterday, at around lunchtime, I was like, "You know what? I'm leaving the phone in the office and I'm going out," and I rolled up a game of, season ticket baseball,
Nice.
and it was perfect. I came back and my mind was much better spot, and that may be something that happens a little more often. So the thing is I have to stop at one game.
That's right. Yeah. Where have you been? Hold on.
Yes.
Let me grab my phone.
Yeah.
Very cool. So most of the time you like to go for walks on your own. Is there ever a time, do you ever have a group that you go walking with or anyone else that you'll go walking with?
I joined a group. I haven't gone like, they have regular hikes. I haven't.
Mhm.
I've gotten my kids 3 of my 4 kids out, for a weekend hike. I love waterfalls, so that's kinda
Uh,
my when I go on the weekend, it's gonna be a longer couple, 3 hours, and, I've gotten them all out. They've come with me, they've enjoyed it, and then haven't really followed up for much more than a couple hikes. So,
okay.
they understand the benefit, they understand what I get from it, and they're not quite ready to embrace it yet.
That is fair.
Yeah, yeah,
That is fair. And I know, like, because we're friends on Facebook, I get a chance to see like you post a lot, like some of the nature pics on your walks, and so obviously knew like sometimes you're going out with your kids,
yeah.
and also spend some time with your kids, like board gaming too, right?
Yeah, so having kids, I figured perfect thing for kids. Gaming group is usually about 4 or 5 people, role-playing game, board games. I had my own built-in gaming group. I
Nice.
planned it perfect. So they all learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons or something like that at
Mm,
about 10 years old.
okay.
And we started off with other board games, like Catan was always a big one that we played. And my oldest, he's more into some of these resource building games, which are
Mm,
more involved. But it was always us getting together to board game, whatever type of game, cards was always just a great way for us to hang out, have some fun. It was a way for me to get the kids when they were younger to just to sit still for a little bit. Uh, as they've gotten older, we've had to obviously schedule game nights. Like we have one coming up tomorrow night, and it's gotten tougher for us to get together, but they all dig it, and we're very competitive. Um, We probably would not be safe for work if you recorded our gaming sessions. But in the end, it's really not about who wins. It's just having a good time.
Very cool. And I know you mentioned like we've been talking about some of the sports game conventions, but it also sounds like you've been to other gaming conventions as well, right?
Yeah. Gen Con is a big one we've been to.
Oh yeah.
I think they said last year we had 70,000 people there.
Wow.
So that just takes over downtown Indy, and it's gotten too big. So it's not as much fun there, but my oldest and then my oldest daughter as well have accompanied me there. We've signed up for the same events, played in some of the same games. I was just asked my son before we came on about his experience the first time, and he was 10 when I took him to the convention. He
Oh
thinks it
wow.
might be a little bit younger, and he has vivid memories of everything we did that day. So the fact it had such an impact for him, and then my daughter much later in life came, and she was hooked. So
Very cool.
those have been great experiences that they'll never forget, and after I'm long gone. So I think that's a great thing.
That is awesome. Uh, basing it on the age of your children, and when you said you kind of started them into the family gaming, it sounds like it's been pretty close to paralleled with the growth of the board game industry overall too, right? Like we've
Yeah.
really seen it explode over the past 10 to 15 years in terms of the popularity, the complexity of games, the quality of games too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not Monopoly and Risk or any of that anymore. It's,
Really is not.
I just played one, got together with some friends to play a game called Wingspan over the weekend, and
Oh yeah.
it's all birds and resource management. And it's crazy how, and they're not, when you really look at them, they're all, a lot of the resource management games are kind of the same thing, but the imagination that's gone into creating these different, it's like the sports gaming. I'm shocked that at the new games that come out and the thinking, like as we go attend the conventions and listen to some like Clay talk about designing things, or Keith talking about how their minds are different, completely different.
Agreed. They're just able to weave like mechanics together in a way that becomes like an art form, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
really is like an art form.
Yeah. It's like, how do you put a game together about birds? Well, they've done it. And
They
it was a
have.
lot of fun.
But I think it was the game of the year one year, right? And
Yeah.
I've rarely heard. I don't think I've heard from anybody who has played that game and not enjoyed it. So it's a very popular game.
Yeah. There's an expansion with fish and there's an expansion with dragons. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
cool stuff.
Dragons. I'll have to
Yeah.
look into that one.
Yep.
Just piqued my interest there too.
Yeah. There
So.
you go.
So how has your gaming experience with your kids changed from when they were kids to now like adults?
Um, when they were kids, and I can relate this to kind of role playing as well as tabletop or board games, you had to teach them, kind of had to coach them along the way. With role playing games at the time, I had to be more of the main character.
Mm.
Now, as they're older, they kick my butt at the board games because they can grasp the concepts better than I can. With the role playing games, I've become more of a supporting character where I kind of sit back and I observe a lot of times and marvel at how far they've come with the role playing and the board games. Like they're 2 steps ahead of me on stuff as I'm trying to figure out what my next turn's going to be. And they've got like 3 turns out planned. So it's evolved, but for me, I'm not going to, no, I can compete, but I don't care about winning. It's just, once again, seeing everybody have a blast.
Yeah. You mentioned you're an introvert, and you mentioned a lot about around role playing games through the years and stuff. Do you find that it allows you to step outside yourself when you do role playing games, or do you find that you tend to find a role within those games that allows you to still be an introvert?
Oh no, it definitely, it brings out way more in me than I might be. If I'm around a group of people, it takes me a while to integrate. And when it comes to role playing, like when we pick up a game at the convention, you don't know anybody. Probably never going to
Yeah.
see these people again. And if you do, great. So you just kind of throw it all out there and have fun.
Awesome. That's good. And do you find, are your kids more introverts or are they more extroverted?
Um,
Mixed?
yeah, there's a mix.
Okay.
My youngest is like she walks into a room and within 30 minutes, she knows everybody. She's got phone numbers and everybody loves her.
There
And
you go.
the rest of us we sit to the side and cringe at all the people she's talking to and pointing at us.
Fair enough. Very good. Every family's got one, right?
Yep,
So
they sure do.
that's right. Cool. Um, are there certain games or gaming moments or even like those convention experiences that you hope like your kind of children kind of associate with you? Like, in the future or now, like, is there something that you hope they're getting a big connection with when you think about your relationship with them and the relationship with the games?
Yeah, I think with the first time they attended Gen Con with me was
Mm,
probably, those are like key moments because you play your little game at home and then you go to this convention where there's 300, 400 booths and all these cool things to buy. And then you get together and you game with other people. And some of these people are so, um, I don't know, expressive when we play the games. And I
yeah,
think the whole experience, when they both went through their first time was um, very eye opening. And both of them came out of their shells big time when we went there. So I think those will always be key moments. And then we've had some house games or role playing games where things have been, where I've run some things for them and I'm not a good game master, but I wing everything. And my whole point with when I run stuff for them was when they were younger was, hey, I don't care what they do. There's no win or lose, and
mm,
just let them develop the story. So I think that's probably there have been some good moments there for them.
nice. Yeah, I brought my son to Play.con the year before you came out. Like, I had brought him out because he had just graduated high school, and it was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, he had never seen the Rocky Mountains. I was like, we're gonna go, and
Okay.
we did a lot of adventuring. I didn't spend a lot of time at the actual convention that year. We did a lot of adventuring ourselves. Um, but he did get to see me in that element, and I
Yeah.
think that was good. And then last year, I brought my daughter to IndieCon, and so she made the trip with me. And again, I think it was really beneficial for them to see like their dad like in his element.
Yeah.
Um,
I keep trying to get my oldest to come out to one of the sports conventions
okay.
because I think he's like sports nut, love sports myself. Not a one of my kids love sports.
Not
My
either.
girls are big soccer fans, but that's it. The rest,
Okay.
like my oldest daughter, every football season we have to explain what a kick and a punt is. So, and if she listens to this, she's going to shoot me. But
You didn't name her by name, so you're good.
nope.
Yeah, same. So yeah, I don't know how it happened, but yeah, I didn't raise sports fans, so
Yeah. Yeah, I tried. The
me too.
one sports moment, my two sons who have no interest in baseball, they sat and watched the last game of the World Series for the Cubs with me. And so that was a really cool bonding moment.
Nice. Yeah, I think my biggest bonding moment with my son with sports was when we first moved to Richmond. Like, we grew up in New York, and then we moved here about 13 years ago. And I had been a teacher before, going into like finance, and I had a former student who was coming up through the Mets organization, and he's a pro pitcher now, Steven Matz.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so they were the Binghamton team, the Mets like Double-A team was coming to Richmond for a game, and I was like, oh, let's go, and got there, and I like introduced him to him, and he was just like, how do you know him?
Well, way back when.
Yeah, once upon a time.
That's awesome. That's a cool moment.
It was really good, and it's nice when you can share those kinds of things a little bit. So
Yeah.
very cool. All right, so as we're kind of wrapping up here a little bit, if there's people who are listening now, we talked about Play.con. Since then, you went to 2 more conventions this year, right?
Yeah. Went to IndieCon and then went to Digital to Dice.
Yeah.
And last
And
year actually was at the Hall of Fame convention as well.
you went to that one too. Gridiron
Yeah.
Games.
Yep.
Nice. Very good. So you've now been to like 4 of these
I know, I'm a pro.
sports games. You are. You're like, it's old hat for you now. And has every experience pretty much kind of like just been the same thing, right?
It's just it's expanded. I've met more people. I've actually approached people that are how do you put it? I don't know, industry icons, maybe, whatever. I haven't felt as nervous about jumping into a conversation with Clay or somebody else, that's a game designer, Gary Brown, or even talking to Keith. It's cool that, and I always geek out on, hey, I get to sit down and play a game with one of these game designers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
It's so true. It's such a great experience to have. And, they're first and foremost members of our community, right? But and they're all of them are so approachable. So that certainly helps quite a bit of too. But yeah, it is. It's just a great feeling to be able to sit down and play a game with someone who designed it and just see their passion for the game and experience that with them.
Yeah, it is.
So cool. Do you have any more that you're going to be attending this year?
I'm trying to get to Gridiron Games. I won't get to Wisconsin for the play get together. I'll try to get to Gridiron Games, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to another one. I was really hoping to get to John Turnbull's event, but now he's had to kind of postpone that. So, because my son's going to college out that way. So I was like, that'll be, nice to be able to do get those visits in too. But I mean, I'm looking forward to at least getting to some probably next year if I can't get into any more this year. But we'll see how that goes. So for people who are listening, we've talked about this before, but what are some ideas that you would have for those who maybe are either hesitant to attend a convention or are wondering how do I introduce my family to this new game?
Yeah.
Or just want to maybe, since we're kind of talking about the Father's Day thing, just want to be able to reconnect with some of their adult children through gaming. What are some hints or ideas or things you would offer?
Well, regarding the conventions, suck it up and just go. That is, I can almost, if somebody like me who's an extreme introvert, it's going to be difficult and you're going to want to cancel up into the minute you got to leave. But once you take that first step and get there, you will become addicted. And maybe you don't go to a bunch every year, but going back to the, a convention each year, you're never going to look back and you won't look at the industry as a whole or the games. You'll look at them in a different way. As far as getting the family together, I'm going to tell you, for me, it's Father's Day, and the kids they always ask me, what do you want to do? And we're going to play games all day.
Nice.
So I think that's a great time to introduce them. If your family's not into games, then maybe you start with something easy, something other than the old Monopoly, Risk, or Game of Life or whatever. For us, it was Catan, which is pretty simple. It's light, it's fun.
Yeah.
And my biggest advice is everybody puts their cell phones at the kitchen or at the counter or in the kitchen somewhere away from where you're at for an hour. We can get away from those stupid things for an hour. And next thing you know, it's going to be 3 hours you're getting to where no one's touched their phones. And I know my kids, when we've done it, have just been shocked how good it feels. So that's kind of my rule is when we role play, we don't have our phones. Yeah, there's things you might need to look up, but no, you don't. You really don't need it. And just find a game, keep it short, and have fun. Don't be cutthroat. Give it that'll come later.
Especially for the kids.
Yes. It's just I don't think we do enough of it, and because sitting at the dinner table to eat, I mean, who does that anymore?
Yeah, it's true.
But sitting down on a weekend, maybe it's a Sunday, and you get together and you play a game of something fun. And then as you get interested more, you can start introducing them to new games. And I think it's the biggest thing is just keep some of the games easy. Don't get too crazy with some of the, but they'll grow into that. And if they don't, so one of them doesn't want to play, that's fine. Just have a blast with the ones that do. And eventually they'll get hooked in.
Yeah. Positive peer pressure, I like to call that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Everybody's having fun without me.
maybe I'll just join in.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think as the kids become adults, they probably start running into the same kind of experiences that we do as adults, right? Where it's unplugging can feel really good. And, when life gets busy, it's nice to be able to step away from things sometimes too.
Yeah.
So,
I tell my clients, hey, you need to reach me on the weekend. It ain't happening in the morning. I'm gone.
There you go.
And I love going to the parks where I get no cell reception.
Very good. Smart move.
Yeah.
It's another benefit.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. All right, Roy. Appreciate it. It was great catching up.
You too.
And look forward to seeing you again in the near future. And we'll probably have to work out some. We'll have to work out a trip at some point, and just get together for some gaming if we can't get to one of these conventions, because we're not too far apart. So
no, and I want to next year at one of the conventions. I think IndieCon would be a good one. I want to get together a group and we'll try to get some more people to go out and walk in the morning.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. I know I could always benefit from that. So I'll definitely sign up. I know I talked about doing that this year and didn't work out with the way that my schedule worked out, but yes, sign me up.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It will be fun. All right, Roy. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks a lot, James.
Thanks. And that's a wrap on episode 258, where we got a chance to sit down with Roy Paeth. First and foremost, want to thank Roy for taking some time out of his schedule to sit down for an interview. It was a great conversation. It was great to catch up. And, these are some of the things that happen at these live events. And I know the event in Eau Claire, Playfest, is going on right now, or probably wrapping up right now. You get a chance to meet people that you haven't met and, make new friends. And that was something that happened for Roy and I. As we mentioned, we kind of got paired up to ride together from the airport in Denver last year at Play.con. And it was great to be able to just spend some time, talk about, get to know each other, and then kind of hang out during the weekend, as we both kind of found our own circles too and crossed paths a few more times. And then he's been at the last couple of events that I've been at as well. So, we've had a great time just kind of catching up. And that's what these live events do. They give us a chance to really touch base with each other. And while this is very much a solo hobby, right, and very much a chance to, as we heard today, get into that kind of introspective time, it is also really a community, and getting a chance to connect with the community is something that I've always enjoyed and will continue to enjoy, whether it's through virtual means of Facebook or interviews like this, or whether it's going to be in person at different events. Those are the moments that really kind of stand out. I also really enjoyed this interview because of the idea that, I, like many of us, probably need to figure out more ways to kind of stay in shape. That's the one downside to this hobby, is we end up just kind of increasing that, sitting down, sedentary lifestyle, and getting active and doing something for ourselves is something we probably all want to do a little bit more of. So to hear Roy's approach and where it kind of started, that's how it usually goes, right? You need to just kind of start taking one step in front of the other and see where it leads. And for him, it's led to really a daily habit that really stands out for him and has given him a chance to not only find some additional time to, have that introspective time, but also to enjoy taking walks with other people too. And I think that was a great moment. So as we talked about with Father's Day, it's a great chance to, think about our roles for those of us who are fathers. or, who got a chance to spend some time at a gaming table with their fathers, right? This is really, all these holidays become really reflective times for us. And this was just another good example of kind of taking a step back and thinking about how our lives kind of intertwine in different ways. So I think we got that shared experience of being able to raise kids and enjoy just a little bit of gaming time at the table with our kids. All right, today, not only is it Father's Day, but it's the first day of summer. And next week, as we kind of turn the calendar a little bit, still be June, but for me on my gaming calendar, it begins the month of July and begins Q3 for me. So we're going to kick off the summer with the summer show. We'll talk all about the projects that I've got lined up for the next few months, as well as do some retrospective on some of the projects that I have just been wrapping up as part of my, March through 2026, right? So we are going to recap a little bit of what we did in Q2 and set the table for Q3. That'll all be next week. But until then, thanks for listening.